In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about assessment templates within Nurture. Now, we've made many improvements to assessment templates for this particular year, and this video is going to go through not only those updates, but just what assessment templates are. And I'm going to go through this video in two parts. So first part, I'm going to show you, first of all, how to create an assessment template and how to use that straight away in an assessment. But this first part is going to be how to create an assessment template before you've created any feedback, okay? So within that, I'm going to show you how to create one, the various ways you can create an assessment. I'm then going to show you how you can use that template across different class groups, or how you can share it with other teachers, let's say other teachers in your department, for instance, that could also use that template. And how we can actually use that straight away. So that's the first part. And then the second part, then I'm going to show you how after you've published feedback, you can then create a new template, or you can update your existing one so that the feedback is going to be available on that template for the next time you use it. So that's the secondary part of this video. But anyway, right, so the first part is how do we actually save an assessment template. So let's say I have an assessment here that I've created. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the assessment, but I'm happy with everything here, including the marks and how I want students to submit, and everything on it I'm happy with, okay? So before I click assign, what I can do is I can click save as a template, and it gives me a couple of options here, okay? Now, the first one is I can save this template just for myself, okay? So this is just for you to use again with any of your class groups, okay? And if I select this, only I will be able to find it, and only I will be able to use it in any Nurture team, any Microsoft team that I'm using Nurture on, okay? If I save this for my school or organization, this will mean that anyone with the same kind of email domain as me, that has anyone within my school essentially organization, is going to be able to access it, okay? And this will be quite useful if you are okay with other teachers using your templates across your department, for instance. That can be quite useful. The third option then is Nurture Space, and this is going to be a public index of templates that your template will go out to, so any teacher that's using Nurture will be able to access it. Now, the thing with that is we need to, of course, vet the templates. So when you do select this will not be completely available to any teacher straight away. We are going to have to review it and approve it. But once approved, then it will be available for any teacher to use, okay? But even if you do select this as an option, it's going to be available to you anyway, regardless, okay? So you can select this and still use it, but other teachers will not be able to access it for a while. So in this instance, I'm happy for this to be only available for myself, because I'm going to show you how I can use this across different class groups. Now, the next option is, do I want to save the learning objective feedback to this template? Now, I can't actually do this right now because we have not published feedback on it. I will show you this in the second half of this video, what this is about. Now, I can change the template name if I want here. By default, it just pulls in the name of the assessment. I'm just going to call this template without feedback, okay? Just for now. Perfect. And it's important to note as well that when we do save any templates, there is no personal student information at all will ever be used. Even when we save feedback, we're not going to be pulling in any personal feedback for students. It's only going to be learning objective feedback, and I'll show you that in a moment. So I'm happy with everything here. I'll click save this as a template. Great. And we can see here this assessment has been saved as a template. This is the title of that template, and it has been saved as a template for only myself, okay? Now we can see here it's got 3 learning outcomes. There is no rubric included, and there is no feedback included yet, okay? And I'll touch on those in the second half of this video. So at this point, I can continue this assessment if I want, and this will just close this pop-up, and I can go and assign it to my students if I want. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to assessment templates, okay? And this is the assessment templates panel, and this is what you have on top of Nurture that you can click in between. Okay, so here by default all templates are selected. Now if I want, I can click my templates, and this will appear with just the templates that I have created on Nurture. So you can see here, this is the one that I've created. No other teacher will be able to access this particular template because I've set it just for myself, okay? I've got school templates, so this shows any of the templates that either myself or other teachers in my school have created and have made available to all other teachers. So for instance, we have this one by my colleague Pádraig. He has created a couple of templates here that are available for my school or organisation. And finally then we have Nurture Spaces, which is any publicly available templates that any teacher can use, okay? But we are working on making this a little bit better for publicly available templates, but that will come later on in this year. So I'm just going to go back to my templates for now, and just to go through what this looks like. So we've obviously got the name of the original creator and then the name of the template itself. The fact that we put the name before is important for later on when, you know, teachers might copy and edit your template. We don't want them to get the credit for them if a lot of people use them. So that's why we've put the original template creator name is here. Obviously we've got the basic information, how many learning outcomes, whether the rubric is included or whether feedback is included. We've got the template creator, and we've got the number of times that this template has been actually used in an assignment. So that's what this number is, the number of times it's been used in an assessment. Okay. Then we've got a couple of buttons below here. We've got copy and edit, and this is essentially what you can do here. Is all this does is it will create a copy of the template. Okay, so I was to click that, this will just create a brand new template, and I will say I'll call this template copy and edit without feedback just for now. And then you can create variations of your templates from here. I'll click save. Again, I just want this to be only for me, and I'll say template, edit, and copy without any feedback. And I'll just click save. Okay. Now, so that has worked. Okay. So I want to do that just to show you here. So this number has gone up. So that's because I've created a copy of this original template, and it is here. This is what it is, okay? And you can see here there's an additional button here. So this is the new one, template, edit and copy without feedback. This was copied and edited from this original template. And if I click on this, all this is going to do is it's going to go into the original template that this was created from, okay? So that is what copy and editing means, okay? And this basically is just that, you know, if another teacher is able to access your template, they can create their own version of it, but it will always link back to your original template, okay? Next then is the view button, and all this does is just gives a preview of what the actual template is. So we can see here template preview. This was the creator of it. This is the title of the template or the assessment, the description, the learning outcomes, how it's graded. So in this instance, this assessment is graded using marks, and the maximum available is 20, okay? And learning outcomes feedback, because we don't have any feedback yet, this is going to say this template does not have any learning outcome feedback yet, okay? Small point to note, if the template is based on rubrics, this is going to say, I think I can actually open a template with rubrics here, can I? Yes, so there's one here about with a rubric. If I preview this, it's going to say assessments with a rubric cannot have learning objective feedback. Again, this is just because the rubric itself is the feedback, okay? And this is what a template looks like with a rubric, okay? So we still have the learning outcomes and any attachments you may have. The grading is, so this is graded with a rubric with a maximum mark available of 15. And we can actually see the rubric here before we use it, okay? So that is the template preview. The final thing then, final two things actually, is the use right now button. And if I was to click use right now, that will just go straight into creating a brand new assessment out of this template. If I click on the three dots, this just allows me to actually directly edit a template if I want, or I can delete it. So that's how you delete a template. But let's say I'm happy to use this template right now, or if you're in the preview screen, you can also click use right now or copy and edit or whatever. Let's say I'm happy to use it right now. I will click use it right now, and it will just start a brand new assessment with everything already pre-filled in as is on the template, okay? Now if I click assign, that has gone to students now, okay? Again, we have no feedback, but if I go back in here, we can see that this number has gone up because it has been used in an assessment. Okay, right, so that is how you use one of your own templates that you've created in one of your own teams. But what if you want to use the same assessment across another one of your teams? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click out of this, and I have another history class here that's separate. Okay, but it is a team I'm an owner of. So if I click on nurture, I might need to log back in here. Oh no, I don't. It's going to stay inside. Oops, I've actually set this class up. I'm just going to set this for history. Just give me one moment and I'll come back to you on this. So, sorry for that, I just had to update the classroom settings. But I'm logged into this other team here and I'm in assessment templates. Now if I click on my templates, I can see here now I have access to this template that I created in another team, and I can just use that right now. So if I click use right now, that has filled in an assessment for me and I can assign that to my students in this other class group that I have. So that's how you can, to save yourself time, you can just create the assessment as a template once, and if you have another class group you need to use it in, you should be able to access it within that class group. Okay, and if I just go back, you can see here now, again, we can see that this template has been used twice now because we've used it in 2 assessments. So that is pretty much everything you need to know about creating an assessment for without any feedback, and how you can use it in your own things. But so the second part of this video then is going to be saving your assessment template with feedback. Okay, so I would actually recommend maybe waiting to save your first template until you have feedback if you like. But if you do, in the instance where you have multiple class groups, or you want to make an assessment accessible to a teacher before you've given any feedback, do it that way. But where this will save you time amongst your class groups with feedback in particular is you can actually save the feedback to a template as well. So let's say, so I have an assessment here. Okay, this was created from a template. So if I click on this, oh no, hold on. This one was created from a template. Okay. So if I have, with this, right, you give your feedback to the students individually. I'm not going to go through that here, okay? But actually, I just need to go through it once for this demo. I'll just give them marks reviewed, okay? Individual student personal comments will not be saved to any templates, so that is not necessary. But I just needed to do it for the demo. But let's say if I give feedback on this learning objective, I'm just going to use the assistant here just to generate the comment quickly for me. I'll just use it there, and I'll add an attachment as well. I'll add the syllabus again as an attachment. But if I create that feedback, okay, and then if I publish the feedback, obviously I have to select how I want students to reflect. I'm happy with an emoji for this. What you'll notice is you will be given this prompt. Okay, now if you are the owner of a template, you're going to get this. Okay, so this is going to give you the option to update the template, or you can create a brand new one. Okay, so it's just going to say, it looks like you changed your learning objective feedback. Would you like to update it on the template? So I'll click yes, I do want to update it. Now if you want to create a completely separate template, you can, and all this will do is it'll just create a second one. So you'll have 2 templates. You'll have one that will have no feedback and you'll have one with feedback. Okay, so I'll click yes, update templates, and now we can see that the original template, even though it's called without feedback, this has feedback included. Okay, rubrics are still not included. So I'm just going to go to the assessment template page again, and again we can see this original template, which was used in 2 assessments. Feedback has been updated on it. Okay, now I'm actually going to edit this. I'm going to change this to template with feedback. Okay, just to avoid any confusion. That's why it said without feedback, was just the name. Okay, so that is how we save feedback to an assessment. But I'll just go back to the assessments page again. The feedback has been sent here. But I just wanted to show you what this looks like if we change our feedback. So even if we just delete a word and update it, if we republish this again, it's going to also notice that we've updated learning objective feedback. So again, we can update this template again if we want, but for this instance I'm going to show you what it looks like to just create a new one. Okay, so in this instance I'm going to create this for my school or organization, and this is where this becomes active. Okay, we can save our learning objective feedback to this template. Okay, at this point we still, if you don't want to, you still can deselect this, but I am going to save this with feedback. Okay, so this is just going to be template with feedback that was updated. Okay, this is just the name of the template. I'll click save as template, and again we have our learning objectives, but it's because this isn't an update of the template, this is a completely brand new template. Okay, and again we can see here on the assessment templates page that it's just essentially a copy and edit. Okay, so if I click here, it will always link back to the original template. Okay, so even though we've created a new template, it is linked to the original one. Okay, so that's why we keep them linked together. So these numbers here, whether the number of times it's been copied and edited or the number of times it's been used, those numbers will go up, and if you have a template in your school, for instance, and it's being used quite a bit, those numbers will go up, and it'll let teachers know if a template is worth using, essentially. So that is how you actually create a template with feedback. How do you actually use a template then with feedback? Very simple. If I have this one that feedback is included on, I will click use right now. No, I'm just going to call this as the assessment name. I'm happy with everything else in it though, so I'm going to send it to all the students. Okay. In this then, you give your feedback to students as normal. Okay. I'm not going to actually go through them all with you here because that's not important for this demo. But once you've gone through all the students' work there, you can see here now that because this template had feedback, that feedback is ready for me to use straight away. So if the template, for instance, had feedback for all the learning objectives, that would be quite useful. But once you're happy with it, all you have to do then is just publish the feedback, and you can use it there and then. Okay. But the main, the main update to templates this year is the fact that you can now add feedback to a template. Rather than just previously it would have been just you could create a template for just the assessment itself. So yeah, that is assessment templates. If you have any questions, do let me know and I will be able to answer them. I know that it might seem a little bit complex in the way that there's multiple different ways you can save templates. It can be either without feedback or with feedback. You can just update a template, or you can just create a brand new one. And the fact that they link back to each other, this will become more clear and more apparent why we do these things, particularly when it comes to nurture spaces and as a public database of templates, because you could be a teacher that's been the original creator of a template, but dozens of other teachers could copy and edit that template, they might make their own changes, and they might get quite a lot of uses of that template, but it will always link back to the original creator. So that's why that'll become more apparent once Nurture Spaces really kicks off. So that way, the original creator of templates are always the ones that will get the original credit for it, essentially. So that is everything to do with assessment templates. Like I said, if you have any questions, please do let me know.